All right, welcome everybody. I'm Tricia Sheehan, and today's guest speaker is Erica Watley. And if you're joining us from the Health Coaching Collaborations group or the Functional Essential Oil Education group, or perhaps you are a fellow student of mine at the School of Applied Functional Medicine, welcome to everybody. And as you all know, I'm really passionate about building up the health coaching industry. We're just so needed, and there's not enough of us out there. And so I really bring as many resources to you guys as I possibly can. And I asked Erica to join us because I used her services to establish my LLC. And I have, I would say, pretty high standards because I have a business background, and I found Erica to be extremely efficient and professional. And she came recommended to me by someone with also extremely high standards who's been working with her for a very long time. So she was just excellent. I asked her if she'd be willing to come and talk with you guys. And so she is being so generous with her time. Really appreciate it. And I'm going to turn it over to her in just a second, but just so you know what to expect today, we're going to be talking about tax laws and tax deductions and LLCs and liability. This is all applicable to health coaches and wellness advocates. And be sure to stick around to the end because she'll explain that if you want to connect with her more, how to get in touch with her. And she's also generously giving away 2 free consultations. And you can get in touch with her to express your interest in being one of the recipients of that. So thank you, Erica. I'm just going to turn it over to you, let you introduce yourself, and I'll keep an eye on the chat if you guys have questions, and I'll ask them to Erica as we go along. Otherwise, turning it over to you.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in today. As Tricia said, I am Erica Watley. I am actually based out of Atlanta, Georgia, but I work all over the U.S. I know that the health industry, the multi-level marketing industry is growing. And me and Tricia did kind of discuss this, where a lot of people are just confused or just do not know what steps they need to take to protect themselves, but not just themselves, but also their business. So that's what I want to kind of touch on today. The first thing I really want to go over is who needs an LLC and why. My opinion is if you are running a practice, a business of any kind with the intention of growing it, you need an LLC. An LLC, of course, is a limited liability company, but it actually protects you personally. And that's one of the reasons I do suggest everyone has an LLC if you're in business. So one of the ways it's going to protect you is financially. Let's say, for instance, you have a lawsuit. If you do not have an LLC, that lawsuit will not only affect your business finances, but it will affect you personally. I've seen cases where someone did not have an LLC and it forced them into a personal bankruptcy because they were not protected. So that's one of the main things you want to focus on with getting an LLC. Another thing with the LLC is the taxation. When you're a sole proprietor, the only option you have is to file your business income and expenses along with your personal tax return. That can cause a few issues. You also have to pay more because you have to pay what is called self-employment tax. If you've read up on it or heard someone discuss it or talk about it, a lot of people discuss an S Corp. A S Corp is separate from an LLC. An LLC is a business formation. That is how your business is recognized with the Secretary of State for whatever state that you're in. However, an LLC is a tax option. A S Corp is a tax option. Once you set your company up in your state, you have the option to elect with the IRS to be an S Corp. An S Corp is a sub-chapter or sub-corporation. Basically, what this does is separate your business taxes from your personal taxes. So instead of one tax return, you'll actually be filing 2. This also helps you with protection as far as what you report, how much income you're showing. S Corps are a little difficult for some people. Everyone does not need an S Corp. That's one thing I do want people to understand. It's just because you become an LLC, you do not have to become an S Corp. There are certain qualifications and stipulations with the S Corp that you have to qualify for. There are certain questions that you need to be asked to determine if you should actually select to become an S Corp, but that is an option for you. Now, we did have a question in reference to liability policies and liability insurance with LLCs. And the question was in reference to, if you have a liability policy, but you do not have an LLC, how protected are you? It depends. What is your industry? If you're a health coach and you give bad advice or something happens and this individual wants to sue you, will the insurance policy, one, cover that? Because there are some policies that will tell you they will cover it, but there are stipulations with that. So you need to find out what your policy actually covers. And if that lawsuit goes above and beyond the limits of your policy, you are now getting into the realm of personal issues. They can come at you financially. So no, I do not suggest having a liability policy without an LLC. You want to separate yourself from your business. So that's going to be extremely, extremely important, especially in the healthcare or health coaching industry. Also, I know there are some people on here that sell with doTERRA or work with oils. Same thing. Multi-level marketing is not what it used to be. You can actually be sued for telling someone they can use an oil and it burns their skin. You didn't know they had an allergy to it, but you could be held liable for that depending on the situation, depending on if that person wants to come after you. An LLC will protect you in that. So that's why I am a huge, huge believer in LLCs, limiting your liability and protecting yourself from your business income and your personal income.
Does everybody need liability insurance?
I would say yes. That's my personal opinion. I would say yes. I always tell people to look at it in this way. Is it easier for you to let an insurance company pay it out, or do you have $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 sitting around to cover a lawsuit or be tied up in a lawsuit? I would rather pay the premium. I mean, I'm in a high-risk industry, and my insurance premium is maybe $200 a year. But it's comfort knowing that if anything was to happen, I am protected, I'm covered, and it has everything to do with my business and not me personally.
And do you have any companies you recommend people consider for liability insurance, knowing that we're all health coaches?
Yes, there is one company I absolutely love. It's Hiscox, Hiscox. They have very, very reasonable prices. Another thing I also tell with insurance and a good liability policy, this can also protect you personally, is to talk to your local insurance agent about an umbrella policy.
So you think we do both?
Yes, I have both. The reason I have both is, let's say, for instance, your insurance policy limit is $200,000. That umbrella coverage, you can get up to an additional $1 million. You can get up to an additional $2 million. Umbrella policies can also protect your personal vehicle and your business vehicle, your personal home. So it's an all-around coverage of protection.
And why do they need to be separated out, like Hiscox for one and a local person for the other?
Because most companies don't offer umbrella policies. I've seen more local companies or more companies that specialize in home, auto, and like motorcycle coverage. They normally have umbrella policies, and theirs are normally the cheapest.
Okay, great.
Another topic is tax deductions. So as you guys know, right now we don't know when tax season is going to. However, these deductions, I'll give you a few that you can start pulling your information together so that you'll be prepared when tax season starts. So as a health coach, it's honestly easier to tell you what you can't deduct now because of the changes, but I will give you some to really, really think about. If you are paid through any type of processing service such as Stripe, Square, PayPal, you can deduct all of those fees. that they charge you for receiving your money. You can deduct your promotional items, like business cards or flyers. If you do professional photography for your promotional items, if you do professional videography, you can deduct those expenses as well. Of course, your hosting service, like if you use Bluehost or GoDaddy, you are able to deduct those expenses. If you do any type of office rentals or co-working spaces, if you work outside of the home, you deduct all of those. And if you're working from home, you do get a home office deduction. And one thing you want to do in order to receive your home office deduction, you need to figure out the square footage of the room that you use as your office. So if it's a standard bedroom, 144 square feet, as well as the entire size of your home. So if your home is 3,000 square feet, you need to make sure you keep track of those for tax purposes. Graphic designers, any ads that you do, Facebook ads, Yelp ads, Google AdWords, you can write all of those deductions off as well. Liability insurance, any type of insurance, or E&O insurance, which is errors and omissions, you can write those off as well. And what I'll do is also gather everyone's information, and I can send out a deductions list that will show you all of the deductions. And I'll also send one out just for health coaches so that you can see what you guys are able to deduct as well.
Perfect. Yeah, I have everybody's information because they registered, so I'll make sure that everybody gets a copy of these things. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Do we have any questions so far?
Is there anything people deduct that can't be anymore? Like anything you can highlight, like a common mistake, or with the tax law changes, things that we used to be able to deduct, now we can't?
One thing that a big difference that changed was meals and entertainment. You can deduct meals, but you can no longer deduct entertainment. So entertainment would be client, and you really want to celebrate that client's wins, and you want to take them to, let's just say, a theme park. That is a form of entertainment. You can no longer deduct that. So, but meals, please be sure to keep track of all of your business miles driven as well as your meal receipts. Honestly, keep track of all receipts. And I am going to give you 2 applications that I think really helps with that. One way to keep track of your receipts for free is an app called Wave Apps, WAVEAPPS. You can take a picture of your receipts and upload it for safekeeping. And to keep track of your business miles, there's an app called Mile IQ. MILEIQ. And both of these will assist you with keeping track, and it makes it a little bit easier for you than trying to remember when to do it and how to do it every month.
Can you also talk really quick about HubDoc? Because you recommended that to me and I just got signed up and it's really cool.
Yes. So HubDoc is a service that I absolutely love. It is a automated, pretty much receipt or book. You can connect receipts. You can connect your bank statements. It pulls your checks. Basically, what it does is keeps you in compliance, honestly, for personal life and business. If you connect your bank account to it, it will pull all of your bank statements, any checks that you wrote, any deposits that you made, and it auto-categorizes it. And it's a very, very nice one file. You can find it with ease. You can search. It uses OCR, so you always have your documentation on hand. You can also forward via email any receipts that you've received. It categorizes those, and it also helps with IRS audits. So let's say, for instance, you were audited and you needed statements. Instead of going month by month on your bank, you can literally just download all your bank statements in one nice format. And you also have an app that you can put on your phone, And on the app, you're able to take pictures of your receipts and upload those, just like with Wave apps. HubDoc is, I believe, $20 per month, but it's very well worth it. I absolutely love it.
Awesome. Thank you.
And I see that we have a few questions. Did you want to go ahead and bring those up?
That was, I think, pretty much just me.
Okay.
Writing out all your resources so that people, in case anybody had a question how to spell it, I just wrote it out.
Okay, perfect.
So if anybody does have a question, go ahead and unmute yourself and jump in, or if anything's not clear. And obviously this can get complicated. Oh, Dawn posted a private question, so maybe Erica, you might be the only one that can see it. So maybe as you look at that, let's talk for a second. This can get very complicated, and it just really so much depends on your personal situation. And so, you may just really need to find a professional to help you through this. Some people are really good at doing their own taxes and stuff. A lot of us health coaches are not, and we feel like our heads are going to explode when we try. So totally up to you. I think these are just great things to keep in mind, especially it's January, it's the beginning of the year, making sure that you're organized and you got your ducks in a row for the year. So obviously, Erica's available to you guys. I'll make sure you know how to get in touch with her or use your own person. But I would just say, use someone who knows what a health coach is, what a health coach does, so they can actually help you. Okay, so Dawn says, what is the benefit of an S Corp over an LLC? I was recently told my profit is too high for an LLC and I'm paying more in taxes than I would in an S Corp.
Okay, so that is one of the issues that I find with a lot of people. You were told that your profit is too high for an LLC, and you were told that you would save taxes in an S Corp. What we have to remember is an LLC is a type of formation. So it doesn't matter what your profits are. If you want an LLC, you can have an LLC. The issue is an LLC without being taxed as an S Corp means you're going to pay more in taxes because you have to pay self-employment taxes, and you're pretty much putting all of your income under your personal name. An S Corp will just allow you to separate your personal taxes from your business taxes. By doing that, you will also eliminate self-employment taxes. So you will still be an LLC. It's just that the way that you file your taxes will look different. So hopefully,
does someone have an S Corp and no LLC?
No. You have to have some type of business formation. That's to let the IRS know, listen, I am a real legal entity. This is just how I would like you to tax me.
Okay, so S Corp is taxes only.
Right.
So are you saying that I would be an LLC, but also an S Corp?
Yes, you will be, the way that it will be labeled is you are in an LLC. So let's say Dawn Parker LLC, taxed as an S Corp. So right now, how long has your LLC been in effect?
5 years.
5 years. If you look at your tax return right now, you have one tax return.
Correct.
Which is Dawn Parker and Dawn Parker LLC is one. If you elect to be an S Corp, it will be Dawn Parker, the person, and then Dawn Parker LLC will have a separate tax return.
So
go ahead.
My concern was with the S Corp, there's a lot more paperwork. I don't know if you can address that. Not only the separate tax return, which really isn't that big of a deal because you're still doing the same work. It's just filing them separately. But I would have to get a payroll company to pay myself and minutes and stuff like that, like extra paperwork. Can you talk about that?
Yes, that is true. With an S Corp, also there is a huge dilemma that we all face with S Corps, and it's about knowing basis. So with the S Corp, you're going to have to know your basis, which is different for everyone. You're going to have to sit down and really figure this out. You will need to do a payroll service. You're going to need to pay yourself, and you have to pay yourself a salary that would match what you would hire someone to do the same work for. Another thing with an S Corp is, again, a lot more paperwork, but also keeping records and keeping accurate records. If someone is working for you, you're going to have to issue them a 1099. A lot of people I've noticed get away with not issuing 1099s when they file on their personal for whatever reason. If you pay this person over $600, especially with an S Corp, you're going to have to really start following all the rules of that S Corp.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. I already do 1099s. I'm just curious about the payroll company. I think is the reason I've been resisting it. Like, what a pain to have to pay someone $600 a year to pay me what I'm making. You know what I mean?
Right. There are a few options as far as payroll. And if you could put your email address in the box, I'll definitely send you a few options.
Okay, great. Thank you.
To save you. But if you honestly, if it would save you some money, overall, tax-wise, I would definitely say go with an S Corp. I personally do like S Corps. They do save on taxes.
Okay.
And
Thanks.
how do we issue someone a 1099 if we have to do that? So
to issue a 1099, if you would like to do it yourself, there is a very, very easy website called Track 1099, TRACK1099.com. You can go to this website. The account itself is free. You would just pay for the filing of the 1099. Pretty much you select which type of form you want to fill out, which would be the 1099. You will enter the individual's name or business name, social security number or tax ID number, email address, so it can be directly emailed to them, and the amount that you paid them. One thing you want to make sure is that you have a W-9 form on all contractors. You must have a W-9 form signed. Make sure it's signed because for some reason no one signs them, but they have to be signed. And you would issue the 1099 form that way.
If you don't want to do the paperwork, Tricia, you can just have your accountant do it. That's what I did.
Exactly. If you don't want to do it, send it on over.
Yeah, you just send them that information in a quick email and they pay them for you, or they file them for you.
Okay, perfect. And then Liz is asking, do I need a personal liability policy and a policy for the LLC?
No. Well, before I say no, why do you feel you would need a personal liability? Are you still operating under your name, or are you saying if you went solely to an LLC?
The personal liability policy doesn't have anything to do with the business at all. That's just something my husband and I wanted to set up just to protect what we have. And then, so the liability, the LLC would be something totally different.
Okay. That kind of is like a personal choice if you choose to do the personal liability policy. I do know a few people that do it, but if it's more so just to separate the business, no. I would just go with the liability for the LLC.
Okay, thank you.
Cool. Any other common mistakes people make or common misconceptions or anything like that?
As far as LLCs, no, that's the biggest thing is not understanding that an LLC is a formation of a business and the S Corp is the taxation of the you can't have one without the other. They kind of have to go together. Another big thing I do find in the self-employed business community, health coaches, anyone that sells doTERRA or any type of products, is keeping track of your income and expenses. We must keep track of income and expenses. It is very, very, very important. It helps you throughout the year know, of course, where your money went. To see where it went, it also helps with the filing of taxes. If you hire an accountant, it also helps you understand your cash flow. Hiring an accountant can help you scale your business. But the basis of what you want to do is to keep track of all income and expenses. It doesn't matter if you're making $500 a month or $5,000 a month. You need to know where your money is going.
Okay. And people can work with their accountant too to say, like at the end of the year, hey, you should go get yourself some deductions because it's going to help you in tax season, stuff like that?
Yes, they can. That is an option. However, if you're not keeping track of your income and expenses, we kind of can't give you a direction on where to go. We need to know, are you operating at a loss? Is your company profitable? Why are you operating at a loss? Could you save more money? So that's another reason watching your income and expenses are very, very important.
Okay. And then as far as the cost to set up an LLC, does that vary by state?
Yes, it varies by state.
Okay.
So what you can do if you just want to look at some pricing of it, you can always go to the Secretary of State's website. It's 9 times out of 10 listed under corporations, and you select what type of entity you're interested in. It can be a partnership. It could be an LLC. It could be a incorporation or a corporation. You just look at it, and they always have the pricing listed on the website.
Okay. And then if someone wants to work with you and have you do it so that it's all correct and set up the way it's supposed to be, do you just charge an hourly fee, or can you explain how your services work?
So I charge a flat rate to set up. That flat rate plus the cost of setting up the LLC or the whatever entity you would like in your state. What we do is, of course, get the LLC approved. We will have your articles of incorporation. You get an EIN number, but you also get an operating agreement. An operating agreement is very important. Let's say, for instance, you have someone that wants to buy into your company. They would like to see how your company operates. Do you hold meetings? How often do you hold these meetings? If someone wanted to buy the company and then decided to sell the company, how many days notice do they have to give? All of this is written information that is very important. A lot of people bypass it, but it is something that I feel every company should have, and that is an operating agreement. So you also get an operating agreement, and we provide a compliance calendar, because once a year you will have to renew your entity. And you would also do that on the Secretary of State's website, and there's a fee for renewal. And basically the compliance calendar assists you with knowing the dates to file your taxes. It lets you know the quarterly tax dates if you have to pay quarterly taxes, and when your renewal is due for your entity.
Awesome. Very cool. Don says in Indiana, they only have to renew every other year. That's nice.
Yes, let me make that clear. Some states, you guys are lucky. Some states do have to do it every other year. Majority of the states, though, is every year, and it can range. I've seen some as low as $50. I've seen some as high as $520 for the annual renewal. Yeah.
What? That's insane.
Massachusetts is expensive.
Wow.
Yes.
That is crazy. So if someone wanted to set up in a different state, can you only set it up in the state where you have your primary residence? Or like, what if someone has a vacation home in a different state? Can they set it up there? How does that work?
You can set it up where you choose, but you will need to have an address in that state.
Okay, just an address.
Even
a P.O. box?
It has to be a physical address.
Okay.
You can use a P.O. box for mailing, but there's going to need to be some type of physical address that we can use in order to set that company up.
So if you live in Massachusetts, think about that.
Right. Some people in Massachusetts would rather set it up in Nevada. There are a lot of people that choose Nevada. There are a lot of people that choose Virginia. It just depends on people's preference and if they have an address there.
And can you speak real quick about, like, when we set up mine, we were looking at mine as Wellness Warriors LLC, and you were looking at it by state. So it mattered that I was in North Carolina.
Yes. So what I do when setting up an LLC or any type of entity, I do a state search for the name, but I also do a search for trademarks. If anyone has trademarked the name, if anyone has trademarked a logo that may be similar to yours, you want to do those because it would make no sense not to do that search. Someone has that name and you get a cease and desist letter. You've just wasted however many hundreds or thousands of dollars. So those searches are very important. There are some instances where you will find someone with the same exact name for you, but there's a possibility you could still get the name depending on what industry they're in. So that's a big thing to consider when setting up an LLC or looking to get an LLC. If you hire someone to do it, or if you do it yourself, make sure they are doing not just a local search, but a nationwide search.
Awesome. Okay. Okay. So if people want to get in touch with you to talk more, learn about your offerings, and also to express interest in getting one of the 2 free consultations, how do people get in touch with you?
So you can actually email me, and my email is Erica, ERICA, at taxes, TAXES, by Erica.com. And you can also, I'll give you my direct number as well. And that number is area code 678-481-4770. If you are interested in one of the 2 free consultations, what I will do is gather all the email addresses and just pull them randomly, and I'll shoot you over an email letting you know, and we can get everything scheduled.
Awesome. This was so good. I'm sure everybody took a lot of notes. Taxes can be so complicated.
Very, very complicated.
Yeah.
One thing I always tell people, especially anyone that's self-employed, if you want to make sure your business is going to run smoothly and you're not going to have any issues, you need to automate, eliminate, and delegate. Automate as much of your process as you can. Eliminate any additional distractions or trying to figure it out. If you know it's not your strong point, pass it off. Just let it go and delegate it to someone. If you need an accountant, get with an accountant. If you need to keep good records or good books, get with an accountant, get with a bookkeeper. Just make sure you're not wasting precious time trying to do it on your own.
Yeah, it's great advice. Awesome. All right, everybody. Erica, thank you so much for your time. You're the best.
You're so welcome.
Thanks to everybody who joined live and who's listening to the replay. If you want to get in touch with me, you can reach me on Facebook through the group Health Coaching Collaborations or wellnesswarriorsforhealth.com. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good one. Bye.